Hey, good morning. It's Kong Yu with you on What Matters. Yeah, for today, Thursday, February 28th, last day of February in 2019. Yeah, welcome to the segment. And today, of course, we're going to be finding out about a couple of different angles in the whole issue of food management as well as the management of food waste and how ASEAN youths were actually empowered to address challenges in sustainable food management as well. Yeah. We're going to welcome first into the studios our special guest for today. We've got, of course, Fadli Bakhtiar, one of the key champions in EcoKnights. Fadli, it's good to see you.
Yes, good to see you again, Kuyu. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for coming in. Just a short little brief description of EcoKnights before we move on and welcoming in the two young ladies in the studios as well.
Okay, all right. Yes, thank you for having me again. EcoKnights is an environmental organization based in Kuala Lumpur. We've been around for almost 15 years and championing a lot of education and awareness on environmental protections and conservations, community engagement, youth educations, and so on. So I can go a long list, but we'll talk about it in a while. Yeah.
All righty. And of course, we're welcoming into the studios two young ladies live on air, Clara Chong as well as Olivia Dianina Purba, who join us for the interview as well. Ladies, welcome. And you are actually part of the EYAAP participants.
Yeah.
Is it called EYAP? Or how do you pronounce it?
Well, we say it more empowering youth. We empowering youth ASEAN. We call ourselves more empowering youth ASEAN. ASEAN group. So
Empowering Youth ASEAN Group.
yeah.
Okay. That's, of course, the voice of Olivia. And then we also have Clara with us.
Yep, so it's basically a partnership between Maybank and ASEAN Foundation, and we hope to actually alleviate poverty and increase the social, environment, and economic conditions. So we have a total of 100 participants spread over 3 different countries in Malaysia, Cambodia, and Indonesia, and taking on different projects. So for our team, we are doing a project on environment diversity, and we are currently working with EcoKnights in Kuala Lumpur.
Okay, so that's empowering youths across ASEAN in partnership with Maybank Foundation as well as ASEAN Foundation. And of course, as Clara was saying, with the aims of course, alleviating poverty and also improving a few key factors, of course. Tell us a little bit about the number of participants as well as how each group were kind of structured.
Okay, so basically there were a total of 2,650 applicants, out of which 100 were selected, and 10 representatives from each ASEAN country. So with 10 ASEAN countries, we have a total of 100 participants. And then we were then split into 10 groups of 10, and each group had a theme, either community empowerment, arts and cultures, environment diversity, and education. So for our team, it's on environment diversity.
Okay, so zooming into the topic, they're going to be focusing on in relation to environmental diversity, I'm sure, right? The projects, of course, I understood, took place in 3 countries, Malaysia, Cambodia, as well as Indonesia.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing, yeah. Let's zoom into the issue of food security, right, and how it relates to the project. Maybe Fadli, give us a bit of background here on how EcoKnights as well as how the program in question that was participated by Clara as well as Olivia looked into this whole idea as well as the other associated aspects of it.
Okay, so EcoKnights, we've been focusing a lot on resource management, sustainable food management for the past since a few years ago. So we've done a lot of other programs such as our Garbage to Garden program, where we educate public about recycling or separating their food waste and turn it into fertilizer. But for this particular project, we have just started a new program where we partner with Frangipani Integrated Organic Farm in Gombak, where we want to address this food waste matter in a more holistic way, not only to individuals but to a community, where this food waste can be turned into something useful, not just to reduce environmental impact, but also can be used for the farm. So this is basically how we came about. And of course, after we were contacted by ASEAN Foundation to work on this, and we saw the potential of having 10 ASEAN youth to come to Malaysia.
Right.
And help us develop a workable project that can be sustained not just for 2 weeks, but also for a long term.
Okay, nice. That means okay. Let's understand things a little bit clearer. So you had this, project that EcoKnights was kind of looking into.
Yes.
Where you been involved in of course, composting and things like that, turning
Yes.
food waste into usable, how shall we say, things of value, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, comes along this invitation by the ASEAN Foundation,
Yes.
right, to involve a particular team in the projects that we did, as part of the EYAAP, or Empowering Youths Across ASEAN program.
Yep.
Okay, so that means the 10 people that we have, many of them are in the studios with us.
Yes, they are outside.
Yeah.
Couple are on air with us, are from countries across ASEAN.
Yes.
Okay, so Clara, you are from?
Singapore.
You're from Singapore, and Olivia, you
I'm
are
from Indonesia.
nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so how are you guys finding the whole program, especially exploring the program and learning more and doing, shall we say, executing the program in Malaysia so far?
I think it's very interesting because prior to executing the project
Mhm.
or program, we were in Bangkok first for 1 week. So we were there to do design thinking and the project management on what we want to do here in Gombak, because our project is in Gombak. So we met at Fadli first time in Bangkok, and we designed our project and we're executing here. So we have a lot of preparations, like 3 weeks preparations prior to coming here. So this is just the executions, and we also kind of like flexible with the executions because we've never been to Gombak before, so we try to adjust with conditions here.
Okay, nice, right? And it's also very interesting, Fadli. This is the same Frangipani group that has the hotel in Langkawi?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
they have a successful project. They've been doing almost the same concept in Langkawi for almost 14 years now to support their resort. But they have a land. And we have been working with Frangipani for many years, and they've been supporting us a lot on environmental programs and supporting our events and activities. So now we're working with them because they have the land, and we want to make this more available for public to come and to learn about integrated organic farming, because
Right.
one of the key, which I will mention a little bit, we have a paddy field there. And the closest you can go for paddy field is up north,
Right.
right? So this is in KL, so a lot of people have never seen paddy field, let alone many other features that we have in the farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's zoom into the project itself.
Yep.
The Malaysian leg, shall we call it? Okay. What is it all about? Tell us about the scope. As I understand, there's some flies which are involved.
Yeah, probably one of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically our project is tackling two main issues, which is reducing the amount of food waste, and with the food waste that is present, in which we collected over the past week more than 600 kg. We actually went down to a mini-mart and a restaurant pretty much almost every day.
Okay.
And it was more than 600 kg of just food waste.
And that's only from two sources.
Yes.
A few sources,
Just
two
two
sources.
sources, yeah.
Mainly
two
two sources. Okay. The 600 kilograms.
Yeah, more than
Yes.
that. Over
Wow.
just 1 week. It's a lot.
It just putting things into perspective, right?
Yes.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
So a restaurant, okay, understandable. You know, it produces
Yeah.
food as part of its business. It makes food, prepares food. A mini mart, did you say?
Yes, because there's a lot of like waste, like poultry, raw poultry, fish, vegetables, decomposing vegetables, things that which are not sold.
And these were basically things that they're selling, right? Fresh
Yes.
chicken, fresh
Yeah, so
vegetables.
when they cut the chicken, when they cut the vegetables, so there's two type of food waste. One is the pre-preparation,
Okay.
one is post-prepared. That means the food with leftovers. So those are the two type of foods that we are tackling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, perspective 600 kilograms 1 week from
Yeah.
essentially two sources.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
And then, okay, so then you had to move all this
We
excess
moved
food.
all this to like a compost area, and then after that, what we are actually hoping to use is the black soldier flies. So the black soldier flies larvae actually would turn this food waste into two usable products. One is plant fertilizer, when the black soldier flies break down the food waste, and when the black soldier flies themselves die, they become part of the animal feed, which we can feed to like the ducks and the chickens in the farm. So there's actually no waste produced in this entire system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, not only you reduce the food waste,
Right.
but you can use the larvae and you can feed the poultry and the fish as part of the protein for the, and this is wild larvae that just come to the compost area. So imagine we don't use any animal food.
Right.
We don't purchase. We just process it and produce it ourselves in the farm. So it reduces the cost. And also, it's high in protein for the fish and chicken and ducks there.
Okay, so you have this big compost heap or composting heap, okay, and at the same time they're being attacked and fed on. Soldier flies are doing that, and then they lay eggs, and then the larvae is being produced and all that. How do you harvest the larvae, by the way? How do you actually extract it for for use as poultry feed?
The lifespan of the larvae is only 30 days. So over the 30 days, they're just eating the food waste. And then after that, they become the flies for 5 days. And they reproduce, and they will be the food for the poultries and for the fish. So they eat very fast and they reproduce very fast, which is very useful for the food waste. And they're not disseminate bacteria or illness to humans. So that's why it's very good for the composting food waste.
Okay. Do you actually need to pull off the larvae one by one?
No.
To harvest them?
They are just there like part of the food waste.
Okay.
Yeah, so they will just eat. They'll eat it up and literally decompose it into compost. Then we can use it as fertilizer.
Right. Then how do you bring do you feed? Sorry, maybe I just understood it completely wrong. Do you actually feed the poultry the larvae or
the larvae?
The larvae.
The
It's a
larvae.
dead larvae.
Yeah. Also, how do you actually harvest it?
That's right. How do
So-
you actually get it to be used as poultry feed? You pull off the larvae one by
Yeah.
one.
So basically, like you can either strain it. Is it like you can like move it, and then you have like these thousands of larvae. Like just scoop it, and then we can just put it in the farm, and then this chicken and ducks will just come and eat the larvae.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's quite big though. It's almost like a maggot that we see normally
Yeah.
at the at our trash area.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's bigger, but it's not as disgusting as
That's good to know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just before we go for our break, how long has this been in the process, and where do you think it's the future? I mean, this is part of this project.
Yes.
It's initiated due to this project as well. Is it sustainable, and have we seen concrete results from it?
Do you mean from the activity from the program?
That's right.
Uh,
No, specifically with this particular project.
So
Yep.
for this particular project, I feel like actually they have been doing the food waste collection even before this project came in. The only thing, one of the things that we got the participants to be part of or get involved directly is to help us design a system where it can be used to document the amount of waste that we collect, because we want to make it more data driven. So instead of just collecting before this and not we're not collecting data, we want to see really how much waste that we can collect and how is this going to be turned into something more valuable. So as to sustain it, we do have plans for it, and because this will be one of the key programs for EcoKnights, where we wish to turn this project into something that is successful, not only these 2 weeks, but also we can present the result of our findings or our programs to the public to show that this can be something important and good for the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think another
Yes,
important
Clara.
aspect that we did was community engagement.
Yeah.
So basically, over the past 2 weeks, we went to 2 different schools. We talked to the students. We taught them about black soldier flies, how to separate waste, what can actually be composed and what can't. And then we actually even gave them like the larvae, the students, those who participated, the larvae, and they can actually do it in their own backyard. Like they can just like feed it, and then like when they eat oranges or have banana peels, they can just give it and feed the larvae.
Right.
Yeah, and they were all very interested in this actually, because like it's the first time they've seen this kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Interesting stuff. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with Fadli, Clara, as well as Olivia. That's right. Right here on Tracks Momentum. This is What Matters. Stay tuned.
Abang Beach between May and August to watch giant leatherback turtles lay their eggs.
Trax FM 98.8 Dungun Trunggano.
Welcome back to What Matters right here on Trax Momentum. Today we're talking about a project, of course, that is an offshoot and part of the Empowering Youth Across ASEAN program, a partnership between Malaysia, Maybank Foundation as well as ASEAN Foundation, aiming to alleviate poverty and to improve the social, economic as well as environmental conditions, consisting of 100 participants selected from over 2,600 applicants. The 100 participants that were chosen were then split into 10 teams of 10, and each team, of course, are given a theme of focus, yeah? And, of course, one team led by EcoKnights into a project on basically composting, turning food waste into something usable, namely fertilizer, as well as poultry feed. In a nutshell, yeah, in case you missed the first segment of the project. Let's talk about how, as well as the relevance of the project to Malaysians, for example. Last year, I understand, Malaysian wasted so many food, they could feed, 12 million people 3 times a day, right? And looking at some stats as well and some details that were revealed by Clara Chong as well as Olivia Purba, 2 of the participants, where, of course, they firsthand came to the conclusion or realized that out of just 2 sources, one a mini mart and the other a restaurant, there was a total of about 600 kilograms of food, quote unquote, wastage per week. This is not even in a month, yeah? And then Clara was briefing us as well before the break about how part of this project was empowering youths, other youths besides those in the program, about just simple methods of composting, right? So good stuff. What do you think some of the, the offshoots of this, right, in the long run would be? Where would this project go? I mean, I think we've been trying to get people to do composting on their own for a while. This would help, I assume, to some extent. What do you ladies think?
Well, I think the sample that we see on the frangipani organic farming, where they have 2 hectares of the organic farming where it's all integrated, could be replicated by other private sectors or individuals or community as well. It's very applicable and it's not really hard to understand how the system works well. So all the animals, poultry, fish, vegetables, and black soldiers farmers, flies, all there. So it's if you come to the place in Frangipani in Gombak, it's really easy to see how it could be replicated. And we also wish that students could reduce the number of food waste, and if they still do food waste from the things that we don't really eat, they can contribute by donating it to the organic farm, where we can actually use it for something better than just waste it to the landfills, where it will create greenhouse gases and worsen our climate.
Okay, good suggestion there in case people may not be in the capacity to do their own composting, right? For whatever reason, they can actually just bring the food waste to the farm, isn't it? So any other ideas and where this program could possibly be offshooted to? Clara?
I think it can also be adopted to like maybe other countries or other communities, and not just in KL, because currently KL is mostly city, and so the farm is kind of off the city center, so it may be a bit of a distance for like people to actually come to the farm and donate their food waste. So I think what is core to this program is trying to get them to actually reduce the amount of food waste they have. So by just literally taking what they can eat and what they can finish. And these kind of projects, ideas can actually be sprung in other cities in Malaysia or even in other developing countries where they have farmland and they have poultry, and they're able to make use of this to actually also help to reduce the amount of food waste that's being produced every day.
Okay, so numero uno, the first thing is, of course, don't waste food.
Yeah, that's the
right?
fundamental thing.
That's the most fundamental thing, isn't it? And of course, second step is actually, if food is going to waste, then this is one of the best ways to actually deal with it,
To
isn't it?
recycle, they can also recycle it in the household level. So it's not necessary that they go to the organic farm, big organic farm, but they can also have their urban farm, for instance. So the food waste that they have, they can use it as a fertilizer to put on their own farm, like urban farm, for instance. Yeah.
You can do it for
Yeah.
each household can do their
Yeah.
own, yeah?
So actually, the food waste would decompose by itself. It's just that the black soldier flies help to accelerate this process.
True.
Yeah, so even if they don't have black soldier flies or they don't have access to it, they can just like put it in their own like backyards or gardens,
Yeah.
and that would decompose by itself
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, a few people spoken to on composting in general, right? Generally find the idea icky.
Yeah.
There's no way to.
Of course.
It's just the way it is, right? So how do we get above that? I mean, you're talking about rotting food, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
So is it still better to use the black soldier flies? I mean, then of course, then there's the thing about, I don't want flies all over the place. And it's how do you keep normal flies away? Is that a problem? Would it be a problem if the normal household fly also got into the mix? Any ideas?
Yeah, so
Yes, Fadli.
so of course there are different types of composting ways that we can use, like backyard composting, where EcoKnights run the programs to educate the communities or individuals. There also another type called bokashi composting that is more suitable for those who stay in high-rise buildings. Doesn't necessarily need like a backyard or like a garden to do, which is also quite okay. Of course, when you deal with waste, the issue that we mainly hear is the smell or the actual feel of it, right? Like it's rotten and all that. But I think the overarching issue of the fundamental thing that we need to understand is that the world is the population is getting bigger. Now we are at 7 over billion. By 2050, there'll be over 9 billion. So the overarching theme that we want to talk about is mainly about sustainable food management, not only from the waste, but also from how we actually produce and consume. So this will be a problem. And what we see from our program, that the main issue with landfill or even waste or trash is that people don't separate their organic and inorganic waste. The organic and also the solid waste. Just by reducing or just by segregating organic and non-organic, you can actually make a lot of impact to yourself, but also to the landfills. That means the reason why we throw food or we throw our trash every day from our house is because there's food in there.
Right.
It gets rotten in like 24 hours. That's why you have to throw food every day. Just by segregating it, and the food waste is thrown in a separate place, which is say the bin, or through a simple composting method.
Okay.
You will also reduce the amount of waste that you throw. That means you don't have to throw every day.
Right.
Because there's nothing rotten in there. It's like mostly solid
Right.
waste. So technically, you will reduce the amount of waste that you throw to the landfill just by segregating food.
Okay.
Some of the findings that we see from our programs, they used to throw food like trash every day outside, but now it's only once every 2 days, up to even once a week, because they segregate the food waste.
Take away the food.
Take away
waste,
the
yeah.
food, and then they do a simple composting.
Okay, just for discussion's sake and for clarity, right? When
Yes.
food waste, okay, that's pretty clear. It's the leftovers of the food that we eat.
Yeah.
Can you then mix things organic, like you said, like flowers, for example? Let's say you've got flowers from the home that you bought,
Yeah.
right? So that goes into the compost as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, anything that's biodegradable. Yeah, so it's like even cardboard or like paper or like things like your egg cartons, and then the cardboard from there you can also be used.
Okay, that's helpful, yeah. So just by that one simple action, and this is beyond just segregation of waste material in the whole traditional sense, quote unquote. by aluminum cans
Yes,
and all that.
yeah.
Right, just taking one more
people,
step.
Yeah, people think that you're supposed to separate those we say solid waste like the aluminum cans and metals and plastic and all that. So that's good as well. But I think another step before that is to segregate between the food, the organic waste and the non-organic waste. So that's what we're trying to tell people. The metal, aluminium, plastic and all that I think would be the next step. The first is to actually segregate food waste because it has a heavy impact on the environment if not disposed properly, if not dealt with properly. When it goes to landfill, it will create a lot of harmful gases that is very dangerous for the earth.
I think the key issue about how the food waste can become like disgusting and smelly, I think one important step is to make sure that it's separated and composted as soon as possible, because what we noticed was that if you leave the food waste there for a few days, then the rotting smell comes, it attracts flies and everything like that. But if you were to clear it off immediately, it's quite okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely one key important point to keep in mind, that we're talking about today.
Yep.
Isn't I think many people we're reasonably educated about the whole idea of recycling.
Yeah.
But this is like one whole additional layer and even more important in some ways.
Well, I would vouch for that.
Right.
I think we have to segregate the food waste and the the organic and the non-organic, because we see how big an impact it can have by just doing one simple step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So wrapping things up, of course, we are going to summarize a little bit about what we're talking about, the project. We can call it a pilot project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was led by EcoKnights as well as by the 10 participants from the Empowering Youths Across ASEAN program, which is jointly organized between Maybank Foundation as well as ASEAN Foundation. Amazing stuff. Keep up the good work. But for information, right, first-hand view and a look at how to do either your own composting or have a similar version of it, is actually to head down to an open day. Right, tell us more about this open day. When is it? Of course, it will be at the farm. How can people get there?
Yeah.
So on and so forth. Yes,
So,
Olivia.
We are excited to announce that by the end of our project, we're going to have an open days, which is this Saturday, the 2nd of March. It's going to be in Frangipani Organic Farm School in Gombak. You can Google it, or on Waze, you can look at it, the Alangs in Gombak. The Alang is the place where we stay actually, but it's very close it's just 2 minutes walking from the Frangipani Organic Farm.
Okay.
And we're gonna show you how we do integrated farming. So we're gonna have the black soldier flies box there, and then we can show people to how we feed ducks and chicken and how their waste could be used for the plants as well. And we're gonna highlight some food waste processing by the BSF, and also we did last time the planting of rice and planting of peanuts. So we want to show them what we have done for the past 2 weeks. And also the last one is aquaponic. So for those who come, and they can bring their own waste, food waste or organic waste, and we're gonna exchange with 2 kilograms of rice. So it's a nice way. We're gonna wear all traditional clothes as well, so it's entertaining for people.
Okay.
I'm gonna be your tour guide, so feel free to come and see me directly there.
Okay, make sure you check in with Olivia at the Frangipani Organic Farm School in Gombak. That's the open day that's happening on Saturday, 2nd of March. Open all day,
Great.
pretty much.
Half day
From
until
9
about
to-
9
From
until
9
2.
to 2 p.m.
Okay, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So make sure you head down
Lunch
there.
is provided.
Ooh, nice. Make sure you head down there earlier. Make sure you waste the Alangs. That's the ALANGS,
Right.
to get to the location. Sounds exciting. Meanwhile, of course, in the studios right now, we have the 4 more of the participants joining us really briefly before we wrap up. And do you want them to say something,
Yes.
Lisham?
Yes.
Okay. We got Alisham, our producer with the furry hat, in the studios. By the way, if you're not already watching us on Facebook Live, head down over to Tracks FM official. We are there, yeah. So yes, would any of you like to share with us, your most profound take home experience, or your experience so far being involved in the project. Don't be shy.
Winona, come on, say something.
Winona.
Yeah,
We know from Philippines.
from Brunei. From Brunei. From Brunei.
Representing Brunei.
Okay, Winona. Yes, what a beautiful name.
Hi everyone, my name is Winona, and my most profound experience so far would be to teach about the food waste issue here in Malaysia to 2 schools in this area. It has been really a great experience because to see the students engaged and concerned about what is going on. I hope that this problem can be more actively addressed in the near future.
Nice. Okay, and yes, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ling from Vietnam,
Hi, Ling.
and through this program, what the most precious experience for me is that I have a chance to learn more about aquaponics, and it's quite simple system that everybody can apply at home too.
Okay, so you can grow your own vegetables. And nowadays, correct me if I'm wrong, it's much easier than it used to be, right? Okay, so that might be a way actually of helping basically, in the whole idea of being more sustainable in the long run, right? Okay, guys, yeah, you know, join in the fun before we wrap up. Quick.
These
Okay.
are 2 of my EcoKnights team members who have helped a lot also.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Wei Rong. I'm currently working with EcoKnights. So if you want to know more about this open day at the Frangipani Organic Farm School, do stay tuned on all of our EcoKnights social media page like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also we have event page specifically for this open day. So just search EcoKnights on all the social media platforms and you will find our info. Thank you.
Okay, well trained, Wei Rong. Good job,
And
Fadli.
RSVP on the Facebook page as well.
Okay, yes, something from you as well?
Hi, my name is Jackson from EcoKnights as well.
Hi,
and,
Jackson. Okay.
Well, I have not much to say, but just on the on the open day, it will be full fun. It's a family friendly as well, full with excited knowledge to be learned on this farm. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so please head on down to the open day, right? Once again, it's happening on 2nd of March at the Frangipani Organic Farm School in Gombak.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. This is the largest group I've ever been in.
Next year will be bigger.
That's right. We're reaching for new heights on What Matters. Yeah, wrapping up What Matters. The best way, like I said, just to check out the open day as well as Wei Rong was saying earlier on the Facebook page that's been set up specifically for details on this project. You can have a wrap up there as well as you can share this video as well when we go off live. Make sure you head down to Tracks FM official if you're not on that yet, and of course click on share. Take a look at what we talked about today, and let's spread the word and share the link and make sure everybody's on board when it comes to this crucial idea of food composting and of course minimizing food wastage and just overall being more sustainable in the long term. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And wrapping up What Matters for today, this is Kong Yu with you live in the studios of Tracks FM. Stay tuned.